Okay, here we go again. Greetings, everyone. My name is Cassandra Floyd, also known as DaughterOfTheFates, and I should have got water before I sat down here. Oh well. Yeah. So, greetings, everyone. So let's see. Oh, I didn't mark it. Oh. Um. Yeah. So maybe that's what I did. Can't believe I did that. Anyway, so greetings. Thank you all for tuning in. Those who have. My name is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And like I promised, I'm back of Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. Let's see. Yeah, yesterday's reading was off the chain. I'm gonna start. Yeah. I'll give it a few minutes, see if people come in. As a matter of fact, I'll give it a few minutes and grab myself some water. Okay, y'all, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I'm gonna grab some water. Tell you a secret. Okay. All right. Like a little co-pile. Wow. Wait on people to enter the room. Dang. Let's see. Oh, maybe I'm tripping. Okay, greetings, Ra Allah. Greetings, Diane. I like this coupon real quick. Let me tell you, while I'm waiting on people to join, I have gotten so much done in the last 3 days. When I tell you I've done the work of 10 men in the last 3 days, baby, I am not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. I've gotten so much done and yet more to do. Mm-hmm. 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 Let's see if we can stick that right here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I don't, of course, of course. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, got a lot done, and more to do. But it is October, child, and you know the temples. 1 year anniversary is quickly approaching, so I got jack moves to pull. I got jack moves to pull, and yeah. So let's just do a little news updates if we shall, while I'm waiting on more people to come into the room before we start this reading. So you guys know that tomorrow, everybody is talking about tomorrow and this test of the emergency broadcast system that's happening tomorrow. Greetings, my Amy. And everybody is all paranoid, clutching their pearls and all manner of stuff um, in preparation for this test. Some people have theories, that the emergency broadcast system is how they going, I don't know, trigger sleeper cells or something, whatever. You understand? But power your phones off tomorrow. Power your phones off tomorrow. Power your laptops off. You understand? Turn your TV off. Go outside somewhere. Sit your butt on the grass somewhere or under a tree somewhere. I'm probably gonna hike up to the observatory tomorrow. But yeah, instead of getting caught up in the rigmarole of the meaning of tomorrow or the intention of tomorrow, you know, greetings, Carlotta. Light a candle for your ancestors. Give them some fresh water. You know what I'm saying? Like put some fruit on your ancestor shrine if you have one. You understand? Take your ass out tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. Right? Take your behind out somewhere. Go to the beach if you're near the beach. Go to, a tree if you're near the woods. You understand? Just use it as a day to, power down. You understand? So that's one thing. Another thing is this book reading thing is important. This book is really important. I'm trying to figure out a realistic way to incorporate the book, right? But also to be able to do the daily just lives that I was doing on whatever is going on. People like things that are keeping them abreast of what's happening in the world as it is, or as it were, right? Um, and there are a lot of things that I want to talk about and address. So I have to figure out a way that is not extremely taxing to do that. This week, I'm mentioning that because this week and next week are very, very, very big spiritually and energetically, probably politically because of this energetic. The rest of the month really. I've been talking to y'all since a couple weeks ago about these next few weeks, these next 6 weeks, and how important they are energetically. So I want to talk about that a little bit more often. So I just have to figure out the schedule because this, contrary to what you may think, is work. This is my job for all intents and purposes. I spent a total of 10 hours doing lives last week. Yeah, 10 hours doing lives last week. And not only just to quote the act of doing lives, as any of you know who are in the healing arts in any way, this is work. This is this is a kind of work that can leave one a little exhausted. Every time I do a live, I take a nap. No different than anytime somebody gets a treatment from me, I take a nap. It is an enormous amount of energetic exchange. It is. Plus, I make myself open, probably more than I should. You guys have my phone number. You guys have my personal email address. You guys can email me and inbox me and call me, right? And that's a lot. That's a lot. You understand? And I'm so enthusiastic. You feel me? Like I'm so hyped about the information that I share. I tell y'all that all the time. My homeboy, who is my unofficial manager, Abasi, who is a member of the founding committee of the temple, is always telling me, Cassandra, you're giving up too much. You're giving away too much. You understand? You're giving away too much. Save some shit. Keep some shit until you can figure out how to monetize it. It's been a problem that I have had where I give a lot. I divulge a lot, right? And so I'm saying that because when people reach out to me, right, primarily via email or what have you, I am hyped about that. I am grateful for that because it is a recognition that there is something that I am doing that is needed by others. So I appreciate that. The problem is that whatever. Anyway, it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I spent 10 hours doing lives last week. And that's not including the 10 hours. I mean, it's not including the time that is required to both prepare and recover from this kind of boundless giving of energy. And I know, I get it. There are 1,000,001 people who are on these platforms. You understand? Doing what they do, creating content. What I am doing and what we are creating is so much more than just creating content. And I hope y'all understand that my reading to you is not me just reading to you. Just like the majority of you found me through the reading of the Great Cosmic Mother and recognized instantly that book by itself is powerful. That book is extraordinary. However, my reading of the book allowed, and I mean allowed, ALOUD, allowed so many of you to gain access to the contents of that book that you never would have had access to. I have had too many people say as much, that they have had the book for quite some time, but because the book is bigger than the Bible, had not yet read it. You understand? And if it were not for the fact that I had read the book on YouTube, first Facebook, because that was my second time reading it live. I read it on Facebook and the recordings were janky, so I said, fuck it, I'll reread the whole thing. So I reread the book live on YouTube, and people started reaching out from everywhere, from New Zealand and South Africa and Australia and India and Norway and freaking Poland and so on. You understand? The book, like anything else, functions as a conduit, functions as a portal through which the goddess, the mother, was able to cast a net and call on you to be exactly where you are in this moment, in this time with me. You understand? We have to be able to understand. We have to be able to witness in real time. We have to be able to see when exactly the threads of the grand tapestry are crossing one another, are completing a pattern and starting a new one. I'm not rambling. I'm trying to get you to walk with me because, yeah, these next 3 months, these next 6 weeks in particular, are important. They are extraordinary. And we have to be open to recognize that when it happens, those extraordinary moments. The whew, yeah, yeah, we have to be able to recognize that. And yeah, and make preparations for some things to come, and some pretty audacious and bodacious things that I'm going to be asking of you over the next 3 months. So anyway, I guess that's it for the intro. Yeah, so for those of you tuning in from IG, I would encourage you, if you will, to log in to this live through my YouTube channel. I'm always, encouraging people to shift to my YouTube channel just to keep my watch hours up. It also helps me to log, kind of get a feel for how many people are viewing each live, tuning in, staying on the whole time. It really helps me keep an eye on my stats so I can adjust as necessary for how people are tuning in, how people are watching. The other call that I would make is I would like to start right away kind of getting people to volunteer or commit an hour, maybe 2 hours a week, doesn't matter where you are, to a social media committee. I really would like to, and I have attempted to do it. I have some videos posted on TikTok, but I would really like to galvanize some help, even if it's just an hour a week that you can contribute. And what I will do is give you access to my social media accounts, because I would like to start really rigorously doing shorts, extracting shorts from the videos that we've done so far, the ones that I've done so far, and start, really bombarding TikTok with those shorts. There is so much gold in these videos. There is so much, especially, one, I am certain that my ability to take complicated theoretical ideas and break them down in a way that is easily received is something that I have worked on. That is not something that just comes naturally to me. It is a discipline that I have worked on for a long time. One, because I was doing a health show called Colonialism is Bad for Your Health for a long time. And so I was always reading peer-reviewed journal articles, complicated new information on everything cutting edge in health and wellness, and taking these complicated peer-reviewed journal articles and breaking them down in a way that not only people who like peer-reviewed journal articles like myself can still be fed from those while not talking above or over the heads of others. I wanted it to be something that everyone could receive in a way that filled a need for them, right? So this is a discipline that I have been working on for a very long time. And I'm saying that because I go back, one of my habits, one of my processes is I always go back and listen to lives that I have done, presentations that I have made, and listen carefully so that I can improve. I do that as it was taught to me by another woman who had a radio show for a very long time. So even the right? Even the and the likes, right? Going back and, studying your craft. So this is a discipline that I've worked on for a very long time. And with that being said, I go back and I listen mostly to learn, mostly to study, mostly to improve. But when I do go back, I recognize those moments where spirit is present, where it is not just simply my intellect and my ability to communicate complicated ideas in a way that is easily receivable. It is directly me being open to the intervention by my ancestors, by the mother, by angels, by whatever it is that you subscribe to. I'm open to spiritual intervention. Spirit has a lot to say. You understand? And sometimes you don't listen to spirit when they arrive in your dreams. So it takes someone communicating these ideas in a way that you can receive it. That's what's happening here. And I go back and I listen to these videos. I listen even to old interviews that I've done when I was doing radio full time. And there is just gold there. It can't just be. And I will say that my viewership is increasing. That's dope, right? My my subscriptions are increasing. That's fantastic. But we need to kick this shit into overdrive, and it can't just be me that's doing it. If you are fed from anything that I have communicated, anything that I have read, then somebody else will be fed from it too. So what I call on you to do is to do, what do you call them? The clips. YouTube has a process where anybody, as long as your channel is open to it, can make clips of 1-minute clips of your videos to post elsewhere that will drive people to your video. Even if you can't volunteer for a social media committee, you can take a minute to extract something that spoke to you in any of these videos that I've done. 251 videos. I had no idea it was that many. I think it was 251 videos that I think I'll have to go over my stats, but I think it was like that. And so many of you comment on the videos, which is wonderful. Those things that spoke to you, people actually this week have been pointing out hour and minute markers of things that spoke to them. Take that extra minute, make a clip of it, post it on your social media so that we can start driving others to be fed from that information that called to you. Okay? Those of you who can volunteer for and I'm saying 1 hour a week is plenty. 30 minutes a week, cool. 10 minutes a week, just taking something that spoke to you and putting it on your social media. Dope. So grateful for it. Take the time to, one, you can reach out to me, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. That's my email address, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. But that's what I'm calling on you. This is a really powerful week to really power up the temple. I am in talks this week with a woman I'm discussing using the facility on Sundays to do the temple services. So I should know something by Thursday about that. And so once I start having temple services again in a physical location, I really am going to call on you guys to help promote the temple, help drive people to the YouTube channel, so on. So that's all I got to say about that. Now we're going to get greetings, Letitia. So we're going to get started. I want to reiterate something since Letitia just came on the call. I need social media help. If you are a TikToker, if you are an avid TikToker, reach out to me so we can discuss how to start extracting shorts from these videos to start bombarding my TikTok page. So if you have those kind of skills, reach out to me. I will open up my TikTok to trusted people. And what means trusted is if you reach out to me, I'm going to read you, by the way. I'm going to do a reading on you before I give you access to any of my accounts. So just know that. If you're open to that, then cool. Reach out to me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. We'll have a conversation. I'll read you, and then we can discuss further how you can contribute to start using this TikTok in a more efficient way. You know, I'm not on there anywhere near as much as I should be, and so I really want to get on top of that. Okay. All right, cool. So with that being said, those of you who may be tuning in late, we are going to continue the read of this most extraordinary book called Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. Pure Lust, Elemental Feminist Philosophy by Mary Daly. This book, y'all. Okay, so we're just going to get started with 26 minutes in. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Chronological, let's see, where did I go? In Europe during the Middle Ages, Mary had been she's talking about the Virgin Mary. Mary had been incredibly powerful as a symbol, as channel to the arch-image who was not entirely concealed. Indeed, one could say this image was powerful to an insufferable degree within a phallic society. Most of the major cathedrals were built to the Mother of God, the source who gave birth to God. No matter how lengthily the theologians protested or how subtle their droning distinctions and discussions, it is obvious that she outranked male images of divinity. Instead of functioning to conceal the background memory of the arch-image, she was at times translucent, transparent, functioning to disclose this archaic active potency in women and nature. A study of theology, piety, art shows that indeed, in the study of theology, piety, art shows that indeed the arch-image was shining through this attempt at manipulation and concealment. To describe this phenomenon, I have invented the word arch-image to name the Mary image. Archimage threatened to explode through the arch-image, and indeed, volcanic eruptions of consciousness and memory in women did take place. In short, Mary malfunctioned as an archetype. This was the situation. Mary malfunctioned as an archetype. The situation was intolerable to the mind molders. The protest solution was substitution. Androgynous, sweet Jesus, the misbegotten and transexed parthenogenetic daughter who incorporated both masculine and feminine roles, being Lord, Savior, and sacrificial victim, was the logical surrogate for the feminine principle. Yo. Oh. Being plastic, Jesus was pliable enough to serve as stopgap, filling the molds required for phallic anthropomorphic symbolization. Yeah, the Catholic solution to the impending threat of explosion. The Catholic solution to the impending threat of explosion has been the retention of Mary, who was required by popular demand, while dogmatically draining this symbol of her residual vibrancy, slowly remolding and refinishing her back into archetypal shape. Ooh, shit. Okay, so let me stop there. All right, so I just had a phone call, So I just had a phone call the other day, right, from a supporter, right, somebody who found, my channel and started listening right away. She inboxed me. I let her call my phone. We talked for much longer than I intended to. But one of the things that we talked about, she mentioned, and a lot of Black people who become newly conscious, who become newly aware. You understand what I'm saying? A lot. I've heard this so much by Black men. So much. So much. We say, Black men, who are super conscious, the Black woman is God, the Black woman is God, right? The thing that they point to as the evidence that the Black woman is God is in these Catholic temples, if you will, particularly the Vatican, when they show images of the Pope kneeling before the Black Mary, when they show the Pope kissing the feet of the Black Mary, and they say, see, even they know that the Black woman is God, and this is supposed to be an indication of their reverence for this Black Mary, the Black Madonna. You feel me? And I am still of the belief that what we are witnessing when we see images of the Pope kissing the feet of the Black Madonna, when we see, him, bowing before the Black Madonna, we are not looking at acts of veneration and worship. My personal opinion, my personal belief is that what we are witnessing, and I've said this many times, that what we are witnessing when we see these grand displays, we are actually witnessing a spell casting of sorts, and an energetic drain on the power inherent in the Black Madonna. I don't know if y'all recall, those of you who watch pretty regularly, a few months ago, I did a presentation. I don't even remember what the overall presentation was about, but I was talking about the same thing in the context of that. And it occurred to me that the first thing I thought, because y'all know I think in movies, right? Like, because I see movies the way that I do, because I watch movies the way that I do, I have a lot of analogies in my head about movies and pop culture and how it is relevant. Okay. And as soon as somebody started talking to me again about this Black Madonna and how these popes worship the Black Madonna, I was instantly taken back to this movie called The Golden Child. Y'all remember The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy? It was like 81 or 83, something like that. Anybody? The Golden Child? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to tell you anyway. There is a scene in The Golden Child. So Eddie Murphy is a regular everyday guy who is approached by a Tibetan woman, right, about finding this child, this pure and sacred child who is the reincarnation of somebody important in their culture, and that this child is going to save humanity, right? She hires him because she has been told in a vision or by a wise man or whatever. I haven't seen it since then, but I instantly remembered it. And so he is charged with finding this kidnapped sacred child. The child has been kidnapped by the devil incarnate, okay? Some dude who is like the equivalent of the Antichrist or whatever, who needs the child, needs the power, needs the power inherent in this reincarnated ascended master or whatever. You feel me? And what he has to do to ensure that he can usher in this apocalypse or whatever, he has to make impure this pure and perfect child. Okay? There's a scene in this movie that perfectly describes what you are witnessing when you see the Pope kissing the feet of the Black Madonna, appearingly worshiping at the feet of the Black Madonna. in this scene, the child is in a cage. They are keeping the child in a cage. Okay. And 24 hours a day on the cardinal sides of the child, northeast, south, and west, northeast, south, and west, right? There are evil monks, if you will. These are evil monks who are for 24 hours a day praying in the four directions to hold captive the power of this child. So while the boogeyman dude, who is the devil incarnate, you feel me, has to try to defile the child. So the way that he's trying to defile the child is by getting the child to eat blood. So every time they try to feed the child, they give the child some oatmeal with blood in it. You feel me? And while all of that is happening, and the child has been keeping, he has a little plant tucked in his little sleeve. So every time he rejects the food, he takes one leaf off the plant and eats the leaf to sustain himself while they're trying to feed him blood. You feel me? On all four sides are these monks praying 24 hours a day, chanting 24 hours a day to imprison the pure, perfect Savior of the world. Understand? That's what's happening to the Black Madonna. She is a captive in that goddamn institution. And what you are witnessing is spell casting to bind and hold hostage her power while at the same time being fed off the siphoning of her power. That's what you're witnessing. That's what you're witnessing. Now, the reason I went off on that diatribe is because of what she just said here. In 1983, in the book Pure Lust, what did she say? The Catholic solution to the impending threat of explosion has been the retention of Mary, who was required by popular demand, while dogmatically draining the symbol of her residual vibrancy, slowly remolding and refinishing her back into an archetypal shape. Okay? Yeah. Yes, Letitia. Thank you. See, I like you, Letitia. I know you be watching. I know you be listening. Letitia says it's reminding me of your story about the bears. Yes. Yes. Yeah, exactly. You understand? That's why we go into these spaces on some other shit. So, all right. This project of the Papal Puppeteers has been to make this fembot function as a decoy. Oh shit. She called this image of the Virgin Mary, the remolded image of the Virgin Mary, a fembot. Ooh. Listen. This project of the Papal Puppeteers has been to make this fembot function as a decoy, distracting those who sense the presence of the archimage in their selves, in their sisters, and in all elemental reality. Child. Yo. That's this book's so gangster. Yo. Listen. Thus, Catholicism worked on the symbolic level in a drawn out process. Oh. Oh, give me a minute. I'm taking a note. Oh. Okay. Listen, thus Catholicism worked on the symbolic level in a drawn-out process of psychic manipulation, which has never been completely explored. During the centuries following the witch craze, it has strived to drain, contain, pervert, and freeze this arch image, the one who has been troublesomely translucent, disclosing rays of elemental being, casting shadows and reflecting shimmerings of the archimage. Thus, this slow vampirism is a tactic which complements the Protestant total erasure of the arch image. Listen. This dual strategy on the symbolic level mirrors the real political double strategy employed by both sides of Christianity, of murdering some women while maintaining others in a state of living death, which is patriarchal womanhood. Holy shit. Oh my God. Woo! Did y'all hear what I just said? Y'all didn't hear what I just said. Did y'all hear what I just said? Listen. This dual strategy on the symbolic level mirrors the real political double strategy employed by both sides of Christianity, Catholicism, and Protestantism, of murdering some women while maintaining others in a state of living death, which is patriarchal womanhood. Yo, oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, let me tell you, I appreciate this book so much. I appreciate how there is this grand radical reduction and simplification and this reduction and simplification of what we are confronted with as women in particular, right? Like we are all this. It's always been annoying because I never really got into quote political name calling because it's too simple. It does not explain politically what it is that we're witnessing or what the phenomena is that is behind certain behaviors. So what I'm thinking about in particular, I'm getting to that, Nura Allah. I'm explaining that now. What I am getting to in particular is this phenomena that has been most popularly named pick-meism, right? We always talk about pick-me's, right? And I was always troubled by that categorization of this very real phenomena that we see that exists within female spaces, right? Popularized by Black people and Black female experiences, right? This whole idea of pick-meism. But for me, it always seemed like this superficial, what's the word I'm looking for? The superficial explanation for a complicated, real, significant political phenomenon. You understand? Pick-meism isn't like this simple, superficial, oh, she just desperate for male attention or something. It is a deeply internalized, strategic, political phenomenon that we are experiencing when we see this behavior in women. You understand? Just like, passport bros, this silly, almost superficial understanding of the deeply strategic and political implications of this phenomenon that we have reduced to, quote, passport bros. It's a political issue. It is a strategically deliberate phenomenon that we are experiencing that is tied to every other thing that we are experiencing in society. You see what I'm saying? Pick-meism is not something that is apart from the colonial experiences of women in general and Black women in particular in this country in its social, political, spiritual relationship to those who have maintained a hegemony over power. So when we say these little, that's why I haven't gotten any pushback from it yet. I imagine that I eventually will, but I did a whole presentation. I think it was the Black erasure presentation that I did, where I talked about I reject the idea. I reject the social identification of straight up imperial caste systems as colorism. I think colorism does a disservice for helping one to understand what is at the root, politically and spiritually, socially and emotionally and psychologically, what is at the root of colorism. But when you say that what we are calling cute little social terms like colorism, these oversimplified, words that are attempting to explain complicated phenomena, what we are doing is making light of the seed and the origin. But when we say caste systems, we know we already have at least three things that come to mind, right? We know that primary still existing caste that's most prevalent is in India. We know that. Two, we know that because of the caste, there is a concept called the untouchables that is the opposite extreme of, of this thing that has been imposed on the people of India. Two, we know that there have been other situations around the world that have mimicked caste systems. In South Africa with apartheid, the thing that happened in both Haiti and the Dominican Republic, you feel me? In Brazil, you understand? So we can see clearly in those scenarios that, yeah, these are social, political, economic constructs called caste systems, but we clueless about how the experiences of Black people in this country, that somehow what we experience in the United States of America is not a caste, is not caste construct. So we call it all kind of other little shit. You feel me? But what it does is it oversimplifies, it mystifies what we would be clearly able to understand politically if we just made it plain up in the country and said this is just another form of an imperial caste, a colonial caste system that exists here. Now, what you want to understand as a caste, right, is that colorism is intrinsic within it, right? You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying this because when she talks about the patriarchal woman, what she talks about, now this is the first time in the book she has said patriarchal womanhood, but what she has said all throughout only in chapter 2, what she has said all the way up until this point is that because of deeply internalized, imposed ideas of self-hatred imposed on women, that we become enemies to other women. This is a political statement. This ain't just about some broad wanting to, galvanize the attention of men. No, this is a deeply political statement. When we see this phenomenon that y'all have coined pick-meism, we are looking at someone so desperately indoctrinated in the hatred of self, in recognizing that the only valid approval of her existence on earth must come from males, that she becomes an enemy to women in general, and even a more violently defensive enemy of women who are trying to change the world to serve and benefit women. She becomes an enemy to progress in her state, in her deeply politically imposed state. This is what we were witnessing when you would have women accuse other women during the witch trials. This is what we're experiencing when we see people like Candace Owens. So whether it comes off as pick-me-ism, whether it comes off as quote Uncle Tomism, or whatever Aunt Jemima-ism, or whatever, when you see self-betrayal, when you see the manifestation of self-betrayal as these very clear examples that I have given to you, it don't even have to be as stark as those examples. It can be bullshit like these reality shows that systematically and deliberately pit women against women in the most gruesome and violent displays of the hatred of women. You understand? And they internalize that they are being empowered by their demotion of women. They internalize that they are being uplifted. You understand? Because again, they see power as synonymous with masculinity. They see power as synonymous with men. And so I got to get next to men. I have to be approved by men. I have to be co-signed on by men. And so these are the behaviors that I must engage in to be empowered at the expense of women and women's attempts at liberation. However that displays itself. Because I'm not just talking about quote revolutionaries or feminists or political activists. I'm talking about even what we witness when we see the constant attacks on women like Meg Thee Stallion, or like Beyonce, or like any Black woman that has the audacity to live her truth on her own terms in her most bodacious fashion. Some of the most violent aggressors against their character, against their life, against their womanhood have vaginas. So while she calls it patriarchal womanhood, what we sometimes understand it as is like, what's the word I was looking for? We experience it as, I forget the word I was leaning towards, but anyway. And so that's what I appreciate about this book, is that even as she is talking so beautifully and so eloquently about what is required spiritually for the re-emerging, the re-becoming of women as their full autonomous sovereign selves, independent within the context of the dependence on the group, their sovereign selves, right? How beautiful and poetically she writes about to recognize what has been done, to have the ability to undo what has been done. She is still a political gangster. And that's what that last paragraph, she's a political gangster. Gaslighting is a part of it, Mon Amy, but it's so gaslighting is just one of the many, many, many tools created by patriarchy to execute a specific goal, which is the suppression and continued domination and extraction of the life force and essence of women. So gaslighting just becomes one of the many, 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 many weapons that one can use to facilitate this process. Let's see. So I'm gonna read some of y'all comments because that last paragraph apparently moved y'all too. You understand? So no, she's not talking about masculine women. She is talking about everyday woman who been married for 20 years, and even though her husband might be, fucking her up behind closed doors, he can do no wrong. He is justified in his aggression against her. There's something she did to warrant this aggression. That is, this patriarchal womanhood manifests itself in a million different ways. It is, the pick-me's. It is political opportunists like Candace Owens, who is both. She internalizes that her power comes from not only from males but also white males. You understand? So it's a double whammy with her, right? Her allegiance is with the white world, and her allegiance is with white patriarchal white patriarchal world. You understand? It manifests itself as simple day-to-day behaviors demonstrated among and between women. The constant ridiculing that we do of other women for how they dress. That's patriarchal womanhood, right? It is, it is this whole little thing that you see, and so, especially like in these reality TV shows, where this whole culture of women who actively seek out and place themselves in proximity to married men. Why? Because they hate women, these women. That's why they place themselves in proximity to married men. They hate women. The underlying message there is, what's that bitch got that I ain't got? So let me slide up into her space. And men are simple. Let me just put on my charm and woo him to do what he is prone to do and primed to do anyway. You understand? So even something as seemingly simple as that, right? All of these are examples of patriarchal womanhood. Most good, law-abiding, Bible-reading, church-going Christians are the prime examples of patriarchal womanhood. Yeah. Because she doesn't just talk about patriarchal womanhood. What does she preface it by saying? She said some women have to die, right? She said it is a strategy, a spiritual strategy by both Christianity and Catholicism and Protestantism, but it is also the double political strategy used by those in power of murdering some women, those outspoken renegade radicals, you feel me, who were reduced to being witches, you feel me, while murdering some women and while maintaining others in a state of living death, which is patriarchal womanhood. She calls patriarchal womanhood what? Living death. Because to be a patriarchal woman, we talk about this all the time, to be a patriarchal woman is the personification of the successful strategy of patriarchy. It is self-denial, self-hatred, self-deprecation, right? Self-sacrifice. That's what it is. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to keep on. But baby, that paragraph there is shocking. Yeah, shocking. It is important now to pursue further an analysis of Sato's sublime vampirism of Mary, the purpose of which is destruction of the active potency of the archimage. Since the archimage is she who cannot be defiled or broken down, the attacks are successful only on the foreground level. Foreground images of women become increasingly defiled and defiling. And for this reason, the breakdown of the arch image is of direct relevance to such phenomena as the burgeoning of the multi-billion-dollar pornography industry and the increase of rape. The warfare against the deep powers. Oh man, how you know what? How IG. I'm telling y'all, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about how once they start talking about something deep, IG has started really censoring people up on this joint. How about it just stopped my video? It just stopped my video, and it never does that. Never does that. Anyway, let me start another live really quick on IG. So it's this BS, you feel me? And so also while I'm doing that, I'm going to, yes, women that support patriarchy. Yes, Allah. And so I'm going to start another live here in just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to post some of y'all comments. It's like the reaction of a woman who has followed all the rules to ensure a male, but didn't succeed. A lot of us result to desperation. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's see. Notice that sometimes some women will dismiss other women for almost anything, but will put up with a man's mistreatment for years. Yes, yes. So I'm back live for those who got cut off on IG because IG is tripping right now. Self-betrayal. Yes, I can only learn something of value from men. Yes, yes. Okay, brainwashed women who have been indoctrinated to the patriarchal system, rather it be Judaism, Christianity, Islam, or whatever ism. There's 1,000 isms that we can name that have created this same cycle, that have created the same vicious cycle in women. Let's see. Yes, exactly, Nura Allah. That case, in that case, most church-going and religious women are patriarchal women. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, 1,000 times yes. Like Africans had to die to scare the rest into submission. Yes. To accept the man kingdom as divine. Yes, yes, yes. All of these. So I appreciate y'all comments. Welcome those who got cut off on IG. I don't know what they own these days, but yeah. So this is still the continuation of the reading of Pure Lust, the book Pure Lust by Mary Daly, which is gangster. This last paragraph was just straight gut punching. So I will continue. Since the Archimai, okay, let's see, she cannot be defiled. Foreground images. Okay, the multi-billion-dollar a year pornography industry and the increase of rape. The warfare against the deep powers of women is in large measure on the level of the pseudo-subliming of male-identified feminine images. Male-identified feminine images. The vaporous archetypes, the whore, victim, virgin, etc., which are condensed into solid form in the sense that they are ingested and lived out, died out by women. Ooh. Baby. The appropriate counter strategy to the breakdown of the arch image is certainly not the reinstatement of Christian Mary, but radical reconnection with the archimage. This requires reconnection of women with our own words. Women have been served from our own words, women have been severed from our own words, our own power. Let's see. Yeah. From our powers of spiration, breathing, and creation. The interruption and distorted simulation of our words is verbicide. That is, quote, the deliberate distortion or destruction of the sense of a word, end quote. As a consequence of verbicide, words have become mere noises echoing each other in the Father's flatland, foreground, which is the place of Babel spheres. The Babel is verbigeration, which is, quote, the continuous repetition of stereotyped phrases. Woo! Listen. One result of verbicide, this splitting of speaking from the self's elemental core, is a sense of shakiness in women who have heard the call of the wild, the word of the weird within, but feel overwhelmed by the omnipresent disharmonious vibrations of verbiage. God damn. Yo! Did y'all hear what I just read? Oh my God. Yo, listen. Okay? Unable to recall the source within, women become amnesic. Unable to make verbal connections, women become aphasia. Ooh, shh. I'm gonna read that again. Unable to recall the source within, women become amnesic. Unable to make verbal connections, women become aphasic. God damn. Oh, y'all. You. Oh, shit. Sometimes able to speak, but not trusting words enough to act on them, women become apraxic. As Lauke Bersianic has brilliantly explained, y'all, this is like a machine gun going off. Y'all, the closer a woman is to hearing and speaking of the archimage, the more accurately she senses the shakiness of the sublimed identities foisted upon her. Shaky means marked by insecurity or instability, likely to fall or be overthrown, precarious. Ugh. Yeah, man, I am overwhelmed. Ooh, I am overwhelmed. Child, listen. She says, the closer a woman is to the hearing or speaking of the archimage, the more accurately she senses the shakiness of the sublimed identities foisted upon her. Shaky means, quote, marked by insecurity or instability, likely to fall or be overthrown, precarious, end quote. It means lacking in firmness of beliefs, principles, or allegiance, unsettled. It means somewhat unsound in health. When in touch with the source of stability within, women recognize that the symptoms of shakiness are caused by the archetypal assaults. The remedy is unrelenting understanding that stamina is stronger than the verbiage of the reverberators, and that breathing and speaking forth elemental words and actions itself the elemental word, speaking forth elemental words and action is itself the creation and communication of stamina, which is the living thread of conversation spun by fates. Since fate is derived from fairy, Latin, meaning to speak, the very name fates says speakers, naming our way beyond verbicide, which is deeply connected to gynocide. Oh shit, we are creators of our own fates, becoming fates. Listen, 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 listen. Oh my God. Ooh, ooh. Oh, I'm having a whole moment. Oh, I need a minute. I need a minute. I need a minute. Oh my God. Listen. Oh God. Ooh. Listen. Listen. Oh my God. Y'all. Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen. Y'all see what I just put across the bottom of the screen? My name, I told y'all last week, I'm going to have to do a whole separate video on this. My name is the daughter of the Fates. That's what I say. That's my opening. My name is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the daughter of the Fates. Okay? I'm going to have to do a follow-up. I did a whole presentation on why I changed my name back to my birth name, Cassandra, and why I call myself the daughter of the Fates, right? Yes, it was a play on words about the Fates, but the primary reason is because my dad did not have any boys. My dad was the youngest child and said that his first son, he was going to name Fate in the tradition of his father. My grandfather, who is known as Fate, his name is Fate. My great-grandfather, whose name is Fate. My great-great-grandfather, whose name is Fate. My dad's oldest brother, whose name is Fate. Because I was not a boy, but I was my dad's firstborn, he gave me the middle name Faye as a nod to the tradition of the Fates, the males in my father's line. Okay? Now, when I did this video, it was about a year ago, a little over a year ago, about why I changed my name from Iapo, which I had been Iapo for almost 20 years, why I changed my name back to Cassandra. Okay? Cassandra means oracle. It means literally she who sees. It also means she who illuminates, she who shines light upon mankind, she who defends and uplifts mankind through her ability to see. Okay? So when I tell you I'm having a whole ass moment off this last paragraph, I'm having a whole ass moment. I am having a whole ass moment. When she talks about the closer women get to hearing and speaking of the archimage, the divine she, who, right? That they become more acutely aware of the shakiness of the sublime identities foisted upon her. Okay? When in touch with the source of stability within, women recognize the symptoms of shakiness are caused by archetypal assaults. The remedy is unrelenting understanding that stamina is stronger than the verbiage of the reverberators. And that, oh my God, the speaking and breathing, what did we say? What did we say? What do we say about conspiracy and how it has been this word flipped upside down and turned inside out? What does conspiracy mean? The breathing together to ensure a certain result or outcome. The breathing together to ensure a certain result. And that breathing, speaking forth let's see. And that breathing and speaking forth elemental words and actions is itself the creation and communication of stamina, which is the living thread of conversation spun by the fates. What did I say to y'all an hour ago when I did the opening for this video? That these next 6 weeks, because of this massive astrological powerful energy coming up over the next 6 weeks, what did I say? What was the analogy that I used? That we have to be open in an instant to recognize when the threads of the grand tapestry are crossing one another. It's why I said that the book, The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth, was not just me reading to you, that I recognized when I read it the first 3 times that it was a portal, this book. And the evidence of which is the majority of you who have watched any significant period of time, your introduction to me was through this book. As a matter of fact, I will go as far as to say that the descendants of the 2 women responsible for the book, Barbara Moore and Monica Jue, Monica Jue's granddaughter and Barbara Moore's daughter both reached out to me because I read the book online on YouTube. Both of them said that they had never read the book because it was too painful. And listening to me read the book was the first time they had even been hearing the contents within the book. Both of them said that. Both of them reached out to me, these women. You understand? This book was a conduit. However, I too am a conduit. You too are conduits. Baby, look. She said the breathing and speaking forth, me reading aloud the book. I can't tell you how many people who have reached out to me said, damn, I've had this book for a long time. I keep promising I'm going to read it. I keep making up my mind I'm going to read it. And I ain't never read the book. Thank you so much for reading the book because now I can listen to it. Right? The breathing and speaking forth elemental words and actions is itself the creation and communication of stamina, which is the living thread of conversation spun by the fates. Since fate is derived from fairy, Latin, meaning to speak, the very name fates says speakers, naming our way beyond verbicide, which is deeply connected to gynocide. Y'all, which is deeply connected with gynocide. We are creators of our own fates by becoming fates. Ooh. We are the creators of our own fates by becoming fates. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all. I'm going to put this comment up by Letitia. If you look at portals based on how Hollywood defines it, it's hard to understand. The way you put it makes it plain for everyone who is willing to understand. Yes, thank you so much. The godmother first causes the Yoniverse and the individual Yoniverse. Listen. So let me tell you, y'all know that I am, a practitioner. I am a healer. You understand? My background is in traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, homeopathy, and a multiplicity of other studies that I have under my belt, right? I have 4 degrees. You understand? Plus a lifetime of experience through my big mama and my grandmother. You feel me? Listen. So I have been working on for a long time. For a long time. I have been working on a presentation that I want to do, a workshop. So I did a workshop about 2 years ago called the magic, the secret, the magic and mysteries of the Lower Palace. That was the name of it. The Magic and Mysteries of the Lower Palace. It was a workshop that I did as a part of a series. It was a 7-part series called Rooftop Workshops, Healing in Our Own Hands. So the reason I call it Rooftop is a homegirl of mine here in Hollywood let me use her beautiful scenic rooftop to do the workshops. It was 2 hours every week for 7 weeks. Okay. And one of the workshops was called the Mysteries and Magic of the Lower Palace. It was based on Chinese medicinal theory, which the lower palace in Chinese medicine is the uterus. Okay. And so I did this whole beautiful workshop that ended up being 2 weeks on the mysteries and magic of the lower palace. Right. And so thinking about that workshop and how dope it ended up, and the response that I got, it was the more popular workshop of the series, of the 7-part series that I did. And it was attended by both male and females, right? As it should be. And actually others as well. And so when I did this workshop, I thought about it so much because it could have been the mysteries and magic of the lower palace can really be a full-on convention. I'm telling you, is that deep. It could be its own full-on convention. 3 days of workshops all day just to cover the material. It's that deep, right? And I did, a very condensed mini version of it for 4 hours, right? But I've been thinking about this workshop a lot. One, because I am in practice and I deal with a lot of women who have a lot of issues, right? A lot of issues that are peculiar to people who possess uteruses, okay? Anyway, when I'm getting to a point, and there's a reason that I'm mentioning this right now. I see a lot. So in keeping with this need, just going back constantly that I'm doing to this workshop that I did because I'm so fascinated with it. It's so powerful. It's so intense. I've been watching a lot of other content creators talk about, and even healers. Like a lot of midwives are talking about it now, and so on, about the connection in women between the voice and their uterus. This workshop, known as the Mysteries and Magic of the Lower Palace, based on Chinese theory that's about 2,000 years old, explains the connection between the uterus and the voice, right? And I'm saying this because here it is again, this thing that keeps coming up. You got to do this. You got to do another workshop. You got to revisit the connection between the uterus and the throat, right? The uterus and the voice, the root chakra and the heart chakra, right? The root chakra and the throat chakra. I don't know if I said heart, but I meant throat chakra, right? And so here it is again in this very last sentence where she talks about the importance of speaking, right? And to combat the importance of speaking, to combat and undo what's been spoken on us that has contributed and is deeply connected to what she say, gynocide, right? We are the creators of our own fate, becoming creators of our own fates, becoming fates. Yeah. I'm gonna stop there for the night because I'm having a whole moment, and I'm gonna need to sit with this. I don't need to move. I don't need to move out of this energy right away. I don't need to move out of this energy right away. Um, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't need to move out of this energy right away. But excuse me. Let's see. Yeah. Mm, yo, I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to make the call again as I'm closing out. I'm going to make the call again that I made in the beginning. So much that I need to do. I am doing on a shoestring budget. I am doing with not inadequate time. Let's see. I just want to make a note. I want to say something else too. I thought I was done, but I'm not. I want to say something else. This is a call to action. Okay. I have not, there was another presentation. I got a whole about 50 presentations bound up in here that I want to do, but I have to chisel out the time to prepare and study. I'm writing down something else. To prepare and study for these presentations that I want to do. But there's about 50 in here, right? And so there was another one that I have been wanting to do, but I wanted to really prepare for it. I'm mentioning it because this is the call. I read this article some time ago, maybe a year ago, and the article was entitled "Great Men Who We Didn't Know Were Bad Guys." Great men who we didn't know were bad guys, or something to that effect. That was the gist of the article. And so it listed 10 men who we give all these accolades and credit to for being amazing, wonderful thinkers and innovators and creators of new ideas and philosophies and this and this and this and this and this and this, right? And then this article attempts to go into the behaviors that that today, for certain, we would have made them would have made it easy to identify them as megalomaniacs, as narcissistic weirdos, as noble narcissists, as outright thieves and oppressors of women, as pedophiles, in any number of ways that these men were horrible human beings behind closed doors. So how is it that we came to the conclusion that these men were great? And how is it that all these years later we didn't know they was bad guys, right? One of the things that stood out when I read this article, which sent me on a wormhole. I'm trying to stay away from wormholes these days because I get so deep in these wormholes, and the outlet for what I discover is not adequate. It's not right now. It's not right. So this was a wormhole though. But one of the things that I took away from this article and the subsequent wormhole that resulted was there was a common denominator. No matter what their transgressions were, no matter what they did, to whom they did it to, there was a singular common denominator among all these men. All of these men were fully supported. All of these men were fully supported. They were fully supported in their ambitions. They were fully supported in their ideas, no matter how radical or cutting edge or even seemingly crazy at the time. They were fully supported, not only, but every single one of them were, not only by the women in their lives, many of whom were accomplished and distinguished in their own right, having been made smaller or disappeared completely as a consequence of their relationship to these men for whom they thought were geniuses. So I'll just disappear myself to fully support the genius of this man. But they were also fully, completely supported by the community at large. Many of them, the majority of them, spent the majority of their creative genius acquisitional process not working, yet still fully supported. Big names. Einstein. And what's his name? Freud. And there were some what's his name? F. Scott Fitzgerald. And there's a whole documentary made about this other dude. What was the dude's name? Remember the movie, the docudrama called Big Eyes? Did anybody see that? You should see it. There was a documentary called Big Eyes about this woman who produced this extraordinarily globally popular line of paintings of big-eyed babies, big-eyed girls, big-eyed. That was the name. That was the name of the whole thing, was because they were defined by these big, eyes that you could see every emotion in these eyes. But it wasn't until damn near 30 years later that people realized that she was the artist, that her husband had locked her in the goddamn attic for years, making her put out paintings while he had art exhibitions and traveled globally, saying that this was his work. While he kept her a slave, shelling out paintings, and he became famous and world renowned. This was one of the dudes, you feel me? But the common denominator was, one, the women in their lives, because most of them were talented, extraordinary, brilliant thinkers, performers, artists of their own before even meeting these men, one. And two was the fact that these men lived lives that were fully supported. Their genius was just accepted. Therefore, the support came effortlessly. It came effortlessly, because that's been a long time, y'all. That's been a long time. I'm 48. Half my adult life I have spent wondering and thinking, what were the circumstances? What were the contributing factors that allowed the kind of creative liberty, space, time, and freedom that allowed for Einstein to come up with, seemingly out of nowhere, the theory of relativity and E equals mc squared, and and quantum physics and all of this stuff? How is it? What were the contributing circumstances that allowed for Nikola Tesla to explore deeply the things that he came up with about vibration and frequency, and wanting to give free power to everyone? Because I know, in the little bit of time and space that I have, what it takes and the kind of study that I have had to be in, the kind of wormholes that I have to descend into to connect, to make connections between all of these areas that have contributed to how I think. 10 years in medical school, studying traditional medicine of different cultures around the world. 10 years in medical school, 9.5, if you want to be specific. 10 years of medical school, full-time, nonstop. I took one summer off in that 9.5 years of medical school. One summer. I went full-time while being married and raising teenagers. I know what kind of study has to happen to generate solutions for deep, philosophical, complicated ideas and make them accessible by others, right? And so I always stayed kind of in my head and in my feelings about how time, space, resources, and support always just seem to come to these dudes effortlessly. These great thinkers, these cutting edge creators of new ideas and philosophies and inventions and shit. I stayed in my feelings about it for a long time. Because I'm going to tell you, I recognize, I know that the events of my life have contributed to an understanding and a worldview that does not make me timid about saying that I am a fucking genius who needs the same kind of time, space, support, resources that these diabolical, malignant bastards had effortlessly, that still allowed them to produce genius, even though they were crooked as the letter S, diabolical in every sense of the word. And support just came freely and effortlessly. It just did. It just fell in their lap. You understand? And the thing that frustrates me is because I'm clear about why that is. Because the women that they were supported by in their personal spaces, in their personal life, like I said, these men did not seek out, and this is not to diminish the significance of or make light of the significance of working class and poor women. But these men did not seek out patriarchal women. They did not seek out women who were happy to be housewives and have children and fully support. They didn't seek out them type of women. They didn't. Not one of them. They did not seek out women who did not have any ambitions past motherhood. They did not seek out those women. They sought out powerful, accomplished, acclaimed women who were already doing their own thing out in the world, getting recognition, and deliberately sought them out to do what? What she was talking about earlier with the Virgin Mary was to, one, reshape and restructure these women into invisible, non-existent support systems through which they can then turn around and siphon off that essence that made them stand out in the first place. That's what they did. That's what they did. Not one of these 10 men mentioned went to some woman somewhere who was ready and eager to be a full-on silent housewife. Not one. They sought to deliberately disappear women of power through the siphoning of that power that they saw in them in the first place. You understand? That's one thing. But the other thing is, I mentioned them women because they're white women, right? And I want to be clear about, I was clear what happened with these women, that they were the host to a full-time parasite. That's what they were. But when I see these men and the genius of these men, right? That which they produce, that we all hail as valuable in our day-to-day lives, right? In some way or another, I recognize that I am the most extreme opposite of these men. I am both Black and female. And that is frustrating because I know I'm challenging you to make this not the case, but I know that no matter how dynamic what I say may be, no matter how much evidence I may provide about the mother's use of me in real time, no matter the fact that you will never, from this day until the day that I am planted back in the earth, You will never catch me manipulating, abusing, misusing, exploiting, siphoning off anybody in proximity to me ever. It will never happen. It will never happen. That does not mean I'm not flawed and I don't have issues. But what do? I come up on here and say, y'all, I did some fucked up shit. You understand? Let me tell y'all about what I did and how I have to eat crow. I have to eat crow and say, you know what? I earned that. You understand? I am telling y'all all of this because when I make a call to you to do something like I asked in the beginning, to take a moment to email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com, to email me and say, sis, I don't have a lot of time, got my own shit going on in the world, but I want to make a commitment to spend 10 minutes on my social media, 30 minutes on my social media, an hour a week on my social media to drive traffic to your pages, to ensure that what I received from the video that I saw, others have access to. This is the commitment that I want to make. Because no commitment is too small where I am concerned. And I'm telling y'all this story because I am clear and I recognize what it is going to take. What it's going to take. These men recognized what it was going to take, but they were willing and ready to do any grimy ass thing necessary to do what they thought it was going to take to change the world. And they did. Every last one of them changed the world in some way. Every last one of them. At someone else's expense, through the abuse of someone else, to the extraction of essence of someone else. But they recognized they needed the full and complete support that galvanizes and provides space and time to be in subject, in a way that profound epiphany comes forward. They recognized it. Unfortunately, they were willing to do diabolical shit to receive the support that they needed, to draw out from within them the epiphany, the genius that they produced in the world. That's why we don't know they bad guys, because all we do is focus on that which they produced. And so, especially in patriarchal society, it's like what you produce kind of balances out all the fucked up shit you did. So you never really have to be accountable. Nobody ever really blames you, for doing fucked up shit. If what's the saying? What is the saying? It's some diabolical fucking patriarchal shit that we all accept. You know what I'm saying? Collateral damage and all for the greater good. That anything is acceptable if it's for the greater good. That type of bullshit, that's some patriarchal shit. It is these narratives that are created to justify patriarchal oppression and exploitation of other human beings. You see what I'm saying? So when I make the call to you, listen, I'm not asking y'all to make me rich. I'm not. But because as a matter of fact, I work. I multitask in my labor. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not asking nobody to make me rich. Wealth is mine and it will come on its time. You understand? That's not what I'm trying to create here. When I ask you for support, when I ask you to assist me in the areas where you may have skills or you may be able to see something that I am not able to see. I've made the complaint on here before. It is a waste of valuable time for me personally to be learning new skills in order to execute what needs to be executed for the temple, especially when there are too many people out here who have skills that are in alignment with that. I should not have to be spending 6 hours learning how to make and post shorts or how to make clips. Or that is time I don't have to do that. And I should not have to. When I'm fighting for the study time right now that I need child, to even be able to do these workshops. I got people kicking my ass. 2 people right now kicking my ass like this week about developing apprenticeship programs. I want to teach. I want to teach. Eventually, I want to teach in a way that I do not have to rely on putting my hands on people and on product as my primary source of income, because it is an energy siphon. You understand? And so I would like to teach, and I feel like I can do so much more transferring the skills that I have to many others than me be the one person that treats people the peculiar in particular way that I treat people, that I put my hands on people, that I show up in space for people, right? I want to teach. I am right now, as soon as I get off this call, I got to crunch time, jump back on what I was doing before I got on this live to develop these mini apprenticeship programs, because people see the skills and they want the skills, and I got no problem giving them, right? And so, you know, when I ask you to support me, you understand? When I ask you to support the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, when I ask you to purchase the product that I am actively making, when I'm asking you to call me or email me to get a reading, or for me to do a wellness consult with you, you are going not only to get your money's worth, but you also know that every penny, every dime that you give to me is supporting me in the way that frees up just a little bit more time for me to focus on these things that I need to be studying, that I need to be wormholes in. Y'all, people have been kicking my ass for the last 2 months about doing a movie review for They Clone Tyrone. But I ain't on here just going off. When I do movie reviews, that's why they're so few and far between. I'm not in here just going off about my opinion about the movie. I'm not. If you go back and watch the movie reviews that I've done, they are deep. And it is because I sat there for 6 hours watching the shit over and over and over again to extract what your ass can't see in it, what your ass missed in it. And you always do. When I did that movie review on The Harder They Fall, man, I had people inboxing me from everywhere. Damn, I love that movie. But it wasn't until I saw your review, I was like, damn, I didn't even see the movie. I got to go watch the movie all over again, because the movie you talked about is not the movie I saw when I went to the movies to see it. That's how I go in. And y'all love that. You appreciate it. Y'all comment so much on my movie reviews. But baby, this is what it means to be an oracle in real life. I'm also reminded, I'm sorry I'm going off, but I'm also reminded of when we read the book, The Sibyls. We just read the book over the summer, The Sibyls, the Theft of African Prophecy by the Roman Catholic Church. Remember that book? One of the things that was more subtle than the gargantuan amount of shocking material in this book, one of the things that stood out to me in this book was the life of these Sibyls before the world turned on them. Remember, one of the things that she said in the book was this was not something women did all the time, that Sibyls did all the time. Remember that? Remember it said that, listen, that the work of the Sibyl was so profound and so intense that she only did the shit once a month, where she would go into the cave once a month to prophesy, to allow herself to be overcome by the mother, to allow people to come to her and sit in her space. Like this hard ass work. This is deep and profound and energetically exhausting work. And it took such a toll. What? That they were fully supported, the oracles, the Sibyls, and that even emperors recognized and respected their need for rest. Oh, they didn't pull rank. Oh, tell the Sibyl to come out here, come to this cave, because I got a war. I'm ready to fight. No, she said, this one I work 1 week out the month, and do not disturb my peace in the meantime. I am also reminded of a story in that same book where the black emperor, I don't remember his name, but the black emperor of Greece at the time was so disrespectful and arrogant towards this black sibyl. Here you is in Greece, nigga. You understand? An emperor in Greece, black as the day is long. You are confronted with vital information from a sibyl who tells you, I got 9 books. Took me 14 days of being possessed by the spirit of the mother. And you know what else the oracle had? The sibyl had? She had a scribe. I'm sitting here trying to multitask. I'm writing a book. I'm doing people's consultations and doing their write-ups afterwards. I'm studying. I'm reading to y'all while trying to take notes at the same time about stuff I need to go deeper into and discuss on another feed. While treating people every day. While making jewelry, filling jewelry orders. You understand? You understand? She said, look, mother was on me. Spirit was on me. And so she told me, do not move until what she said is complete. She had a scribe. Whenever she went into the cave to become possessed by the spirit of the mother, to communicate something to the greater population, she wasn't multitasking, doing all the shit, being a conduit, a portal for mother to communicate to you. She wasn't. All she was doing was being able to be fully embodied as the mother. And she had a scribe that did all her note taking. You understand? All you did was write. She, he, whoever. Just write. 90 miles to done. Whatever she say. Whatever she say. Whatever she say. That's what the scribe did. And so she go to this arrogant ass dude with 9 books in 14 days. Do you know? Can you even fathom? One, the kind of wormhole she was in to speak out of her body 9 books of prophecy in 14 days. That shit shook me to my core when I read it. It shook me to my core. Because one, it demonstrated to me a small splinter of a memory of how much power women possessed and how much of that power has been extracted and stolen and appropriated somewhere else. The kind of that story shook me. And then this arrogant motherfucker gonna be like, she say, look, I need 300 pieces of gold for what just came up out of here. This walk that I just did with this scribe and the mother in this cave for 14 days, I'm gonna need you to pay me the value of my labor. Because you can only win from what I'm giving you. You can only win. And he was like, I don't want that shit. She was like, oh, word. Okay. She said, well, I will ensure nobody else get it neither. And set the shit on fire. Burnt it right there in the palace floor. His wise men, his spiritual guides was freaking out. Like, you know who that is? He's like, I don't care who that is. She ain't nothing but a black woman. That's what the nigga said. She ain't nothing but a black woman. What can she possibly tell me that will be of any value to me? I am the black emperor of Greece. She just a black bitch. You understand? His wise men, his scribe, his spiritual advisors was like, you with that bullshit. You understand? She is like, I got 6 books left. It's still gonna be 300 pieces of gold. He's like, I ain't giving your ass no gold. I don't want them books. She's like, oh, word? Okay. Set 3 more on fire right there in the palace floor. By this time, his wise men was like, they couldn't keep quiet no more. They were like, look, you obviously do not understand the gravity of that which you have just allowed to happen. But we are telling you that you better buy these last 3 books and pay her whatever she asked. And he was kind of shook. He was like, damn, it's like that? And they was like, bro, it's like that. And so she said, got 3 books. We got 3 books left. You want these books? It's going to be 300 pieces of gold. But my price ain't changed. And he gave her the gold. And they said that he read the first page of the book and instantly realized the grave error he had made in letting her burn the previous 6. It was so monumental and so important that from that day, he had the books under 24-hour security, the remaining 3, under 24-hour security. Those books, which that Black emperor was now in possession of, would eventually become the corrupted Sibylline prophecies that were stolen by the Hebrews and corrupted by the Hebrews and subsequently the Catholics. Those 3 books are the origin and the essence of what we know as the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran today. And this arrogant Negro let us set 6 of the books on fire. You understand? Why am I telling y'all this story? Is it resonating with you why it is important to revisit this story? When I read to you The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth, and we went through that book with a fine-tooth comb. I spent 3 months, I think, 3 or 4 months reading the book on YouTube. And then after that, we started engaging in the book club where we were going chapter by chapter and dissecting the book. Remember that? And we spent 6, 7, 8 months combing through that book with a fine-tooth comb. And y'all remember how profound the book was, The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. Y'all know that? The thing that stood out to me about this work, I told you and I maintain my position that book is the evidence of channeling. This, because when I got the book, which was years ago, 2015 or so, when my homegirl turned me on to the book, my knee-jerk response, because I was still a hardcore Black nationalist, was what in the hell could a white woman from Portland, Oregon possibly have to tell me that is going to have any significant impact on my life? I had an attitude about the book. First, the title, I was like, this sounds like some hippie shit. You understand what I'm saying? And this is a Black woman who gave me the book. I was like, this sounds like some hippie shit. You understand? I said, and second of all, what could a white woman from Portland and a white woman from Sweden or Switzerland, wherever the fuck she's from, I think it's Switzerland, what could they possibly have to tell me that is going to be impactful in my life at all as a Black woman in America? And so I bought the book because I respect the sister, but I made up in my mind that if I was not moved in the first 2 pages, I was not reading the book. You understand? This book, this woman wrote, this white woman from Portland, Barbara Moore, wrote this book illustrated by Monica Zhu from Switzerland. This work was a stroke of unadulterated genius. The pure evidence, if I ever saw it, of channeling, of intervention by the mother in the body of a woman. And the thing that has always struck me was that this woman was homeless when she wrote this book. This woman could not get a job in any educational institution after she wrote the book, even as people were teaching her book as source material. This woman was hated by many, many, many women. Some of her most outspoken critics were women claiming to be feminists. Mm-hmm. Alice Walker said that it was the the most incredible book she had ever read. Alice Walker said it was the most important work of the 20th century. Alice Walker said that. And this woman died in poverty and wrote the book Homeless. When her daughter reached out to me, when her daughter hit me up after watching me read her mother's book, she told me, she said, I've never read the book. She said, I hesitated listening to you read the book. I said, oh my God, why? She said, you have to understand that this book represents a life of trauma for me and my brother. My mother was homeless when she wrote this book. We lived with her in our car for years while she wrote, almost possessed, writing this book. That nothing was more important than writing this book. She said, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to hear my mother's words. That's what she said. That's what she said. I am reminded of Barbara Moore's life, impoverished, homeless, being faithful to the will of the mother to execute this wonderful, magnanimous piece of work, because she knew that in 30 years, some resistant young Black woman was going to find the book. Okay, my live is ending on IG again. Yep, so I'm going to just leave that there. But she knew some young Black woman who was resistant, who was a hardcore Black nationalist, that something was going to bust through that and allow her the opportunity to be fed from that book directly from Spirit, and to honor and heed the call to read the book because someone else needed it the same way I did, though I did not know I needed it. That book forever changed me. It did. You understand? But it is a crime. It is a crime. It is a crime of grand proportion that this wonderful, magnanimous, game-changing, culturally, globally relevant piece of work that is the evidence that this woman was an oracle being led by the mother, had to live a life of unsupported poverty while she produced this work of genius. It's a crime. It's a crime. It is a crime that is prominent in this society where women who are genius, we know they are, we know their names, we know who they are, live lives of destitution, of struggle, of loneliness, of isolation, of the reduction to the status of crazy, and we know that they are geniuses. Yet we do not honor that genius until they are old and about to die, or until after they've died. And we know while they are alive that they are genius, that they are led, that the mother is having her way with them, because there is something urgent that the world needs to hear through them. All these goddamn oracles alive on the planet having to be master multitaskers to survive. That's all. Just bare minimum, just to survive. Just to make sure that they are not homeless while they are doing the mother's will. And the challenge that I am making is that we end this tendency. We know, we have the evidence of it, that any time genius women are supported in any way, that those around her are raised up in every way. politically, emotionally, financially. We have countless evidence over and over and over again, over and over and over again, over and over and over again, that when genius women are supported, we are all raised up. We are all raised up. When Mary Bethune-McLeod was frustrated about the absence of Black institutions, Black college level institutions, she waited. She waited. She was like, okay, ain't nobody gonna build it. I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna build it. Recognizing even then, I think it was 1910 when she created Bethune-McLeod University. I think it was 1910. Even then, Black men giving her hell every step of the way. It was she who said, why y'all fighting me? I'm paraphrasing. Why y'all fighting me? Why y'all giving me shit? Why y'all making this thing that I am called to do difficult? Why y'all making this thing difficult? The quote is, don't you know that when and where I enter, the whole people enter? She said, support me and we will all be raised up. Support what I am doing and we will all be raised up. Get on board with my vision, even if you can't see it clearly yet. Just know that when one woman is supported, the whole people is raised up. That ain't no shit you got to seek out deep. I can name woman after woman after woman after woman. Queen Nanny of the Jamaican Maroons. Here she was, surrounded by men. But they weren't making no revolutionary struggle. They weren't setting shit off. Did they? They weren't setting shit off. Queen Nanny was a Sibyl. She was a spiritual woman. It was her spiritual connection that gave her influence. That's why she had the audacity to make a revolution, to jumpstart the revolutionary movement of the Jamaican Maroons. She did that. Harriet Tubman, who there is none since she transitioned who has done anything even remotely close to what she was able to accomplish. Here this woman was, guided by spirit. She was a Sibyl, Harriet Tubman was. And her connection to spirit made her revolutionary, is what it did. It helped to inform her, even as she could not read and write, even as she did not know how to read a map. And what she say? She go to Philadelphia and Black folks is living nice in Free State. They're living nice. She's like, look, I get it. This nice up here. It's easy to get caught up. But don't y'all know slavery happened right across the country, right across the border, right down the street. Slavery is happening. And while this is nice and comfortable, I'm going back and I'm gonna go get my folks. I'm going to get my peoples. You understand what I'm saying? And May couldn't get a single man to leave Philadelphia to go with her. So she went by herself back into slave country. You understand what I'm saying? Harriet Tubman was a Sibyl. Making a way out of no way because she what? Had no fucking support. She ain't had no support. She ain't had no support. So she was like, fuck it. I gotta make a way out of no way. Here I am surrounded by men. Can't get one man to come with me to do this work. Here I am. I got to threaten men that I go rescue. I got to threaten men with my shotgun that I rescue. Because if you sell us out, you can't go back. If you decide to get on the train, baby, you can't go back. Because your ass will snitch. So the only way you leaving this train, baby, is with a bullet. That's it. You understand? We can go on and on. We can go on. I can name them all, these powerful spiritual oracle sibyls of the last 3 centuries who give us constant examples of what it means. And how much further along would we be if these women had the support that we just willingly, effortlessly give to white geniuses, white male geniuses? How much further would we be along as a people if we supported our geniuses embodied in Black females? How much further along would we be? Or any other females? If you're talking about Native people, how much further along would you be if you gave full support, unquestioning support to Native women in your community? How much further along would Mexican people be if they gave unwavering support to the women in their community, recognizing that when women are made well, when women are supported, the whole group is radically raised up? Hell, the whole community is radically raised up, even when there's somebody like Harriet Tubman who got to do the shit by her motherfucking self with no support. You feel me? We have too many examples, but for this to still be a thing, for me to be trying to explain to you why I make the call, I establish the challenge for you to have the same confidence in me that you willingly and easily give to men, to white men who you recognize have a vision. And even though that shit might be out the box right now, it's going to be something. It's going to lead somewhere. To have the unwavering trust that yields support to a Black woman that you, listen, in my lifetime, you don't have to question my intentions. I tell Spirit that all the time. I'm gonna need my wealth right now. I'm gonna need my abundance and my wealth right now, because you know my stilo. You can go back. Even when I don't have money, even when I don't have money, I use it for the benefit of myself and the whole, and simultaneously, reciprocally. Feel me? When I have excess or extra, I use it in a way that is in alignment with what I say I want to see made real in the future. Every time, I always go out of my way to demonstrate that, so Spirit knows that I won't be a lecherous, megalomaniac, noble narcissist when I greet my wealth. When I greet my wealth, she'll know, okay, this bitch right here is about that life. Like when we give her, when she finally meet her money, when she finally meet her wealth, we know exactly how she's going to move in the world with it. You understand? So, you understand? So that's the challenge. Right now, it is support the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. When you support me, you are supporting the future. When you support me, you are supporting the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Every dime is about supporting my life, which is extraordinarily modest right now. You understand? So that I can free up the space that I need to do these things that you're asking me to do, that you want to see me do. This seminar on the magic and mysteries of the lower palace, I'm telling you, it's so mind-blowing. Sometimes I'm like, as a matter of fact, I posted a very small snippet, like a 4-minute snippet on my YouTube channel, because it happened to come through my memories. So go to my YouTube channel, is one of the more recent posts that I made, videos that I posted. And that little snippet is just a very small piece of this 4-hour workshop that I taught on the mysteries and magic of the lower palace. This has to be something that everybody has access to. But I'm not giving it away. I give too much away anyway. I do, man. And that's why I'm struggling to pay my rent. You understand? Shit. That's why my light bill looking crazy right now. It's because I give too much away for free. And so that's the next trajectory we on, is how to radically and rapidly build a temple of evolutionary emergence. Our 1 year anniversary is coming up on November 11th. Like, I would like to pull a jack move for that. I would like to initiate an event that will shake this bitch to its core. That's what I would like to do, and I don't think it's unreasonable. You understand? Global Orgasm Day is the day before the winter solstice this year. You understand? It's December 20th. December 20th is Global Orgasm Day. That's a powerful statement. The day before the winter solstice. I would like to pull a jack move for this event. You understand? Yeah, so anyway. Yeah. I want y'all to do me a favor. One, my email address, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Inbox me, contact me. The things that I need right away are people to help with my social media. One, that's the most important thing right now. Two, the other thing that I need is any skills that people have in fundraising. Carlotta's already reached out. Anything, because this is the season that we should be able to galvanize grants. People are looking for places to dump money for their tax write-offs and shit. And so I need people looking for grants, writing for grants, researching grants. This is not people. Listen, it is not. I'll do it if I have to, but I really want to struggle with you. This is not what I am supposed to be doing with my time. It is not. It is not. There are people that have these skills. We need access to these people with these skills. So it's not something that they have to learn. It's not something that we have to reinvent the goddamn wheel. You understand? We need funding. We need funding. Just like any preacher in any church. A preacher in a church worked maybe if it's a real devout church, he worked twice on Sunday, he worked on Wednesday, and he may work on Thursday. You understand? He worked 3 days a week. He do Bible study, he do, soul winning on Thursday, and he do 2 services on Sunday. And it is assumed by his congregation that he needs that amount of time and space to study, to be one with spirit so that what he delivers can feed the flock. It is a given. Everybody in the church accepts that. That's why they give him 10% of their income every month. And on top of that, they give an offering every service without a second thought, without batting an eye. That's what they do because they recognize that this is our spiritual leader. And he has to be in ceremony with spirit in order to. It ain't just some shit he do by flying by the seat of his pants. He in that book, studying all week to deliver what he believes is a message from his God. They accept it and they fully fucking support it without a second thought. Understand? I am not interested in learning any new logistical skills. I'm just not. I mean, I did that shit for 12 years in political organization. Learning everything I could. Learning how to do Photoshop. Learning how to make flyers. Learning how to do video editing. Learning how to do audio editing. Learning engineering so I could engineer my own radio show while taking calls and conducting the interview and studying the topic that I was going to. I'm not doing all of that. I'm not. And so I'm telling you, this is what has to happen. If it's an hour a week, hell, if it's an hour a month that you can contribute, it is an hour that is freed up for me to do what I need to do. And I'm grateful for it. If you have 10 minutes a week and that's all you can spare, because I know what life is. I know how life can be. If you have 10 minutes a week and all you're doing is taking your favorite video clip and posting it on social media. You understand? I am grateful for that. And that's 10 minutes a week. That's 40 minutes a month that I am freed up. That's all I'm calling on you to do is to free up space. You understand? So that's all I got. I didn't mean to go off like that. but that's what I got. And I'm grateful for those of you who rocked with me the full time. I'm grateful that you are receiving the book the same way that I am. Because this book by Mary Daly, baby, it's on one. It's on one. And yes, so I'll be finagling my schedule this week to try to figure out. I know y'all really liked last week and me coming on at 9:36 and doing the astrology and doing the tarot reading. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. And so I think it was ambitious for me to attempt to do that. So what I'm trying to visualize now is how I can continue to both read the book daily, so we're not in this book for 6 months, how to read the book daily and still be able to do the other things that you guys found useful last week. I did see a bump in my listenership and in my subscriptions when I was doing more practical stuff like astrology for the week and the tarot reading for the week and stuff like that. I get it. But again, this is a fight for time. This is a fight for time. You understand? And so that's what I'm struggling with. You guys' help with. So and make it on your terms. Tell me what your terms are so we can work it out. Thank you so much for staying on. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share with anyone else if you were touched by this or fed by this or found the reading as profound as I did. Disseminate it. Distribute it to someone that you know can be fed from it. We ain't here for entertainment. We are not. You understand? And so my name is Cassandra Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates. I am the founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And I will see you all tomorrow. In the meantime, I am certain of nothing but abundance in your life. Protection, prosperity, abundance, and happiness in your life. I'm certain of it. That's the prayer. So thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.